My wife Amy wanted to be here, but she was called to Stoughton Hospital to work a late shift, so she sends her regrets. My name is Peter Theron, and I'm a candidate for Congress. We are here today in sight of the General Motors Janesville Assembly Plant because I believe that energy is the #1 issue facing America. Discredited government policies put in place by liberals, such as the incumbent representative, are responsible for 3,500 families suffering from job loss, both here and in part suppliers throughout the region. Families throughout the 2nd Congressional District are struggling with house payments, rent, school costs, and living expenses because the high cost of gasoline has eaten through their wallets, and the heating season is still to come. My training has been in mathematics, statistics, and computer science, with a BA from Princeton and a PhD from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I've taught at UW-Madison, UW-Whitewater, and Beloit College, all the while working and consulting in industry. I've worked with private companies teaching computer programming, creating software, and consulting on website design, so I know how tough it is to remain competitive in the global marketplace in which GM and Wisconsin companies live. I've worked hard at my profession and have strong family ties and strong spiritual values. I've tried to be a conscientious citizen and have paid close attention to what is happening in our country and in the world. I've cast thoughtful votes. I've entered this race to raise issues vital to our democracy. We must change the political thinking about the threats facing us. I want to restore the political balance in this district that previously elected former U.S. Representative Scott Klug and nearly elected Professor John Sharpless. I understand that winning will be a challenge, but I will position myself to have an opportunity to win. Please join me. Democracy is not just for insiders, elites, big organizations, those in the know, and those who are well connected. It is for average citizens like us. I offer ideas, seek solutions, and ask for your support. It is you who pay taxes, raise families, work hard, fight for our nation, and dream the American dream. Here, anyone can run for office and have a chance to win. If I learned anything about America, it is that motivated citizens like ourselves are often the ones who meet the biggest challenges and right the worst wrongs. Today, America is threatened. Today is very similar to the beginning of the World War II and the beginning of the Cold War. It is a period so unsettled that failure could make the world a very, very dangerous place. These grave threats include high-priced energy, the present war and the risk of spreading war in Iran or in Georgia, the risk of U.S. economic downturn, and the Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid time bombs. These threats compelled me to run. I am a problem solver. I will work to find real solutions, rather than politically expedient solutions that may sound good but either change nothing or make the problem worse. The incumbent has had a full decade to provide us with her solutions. She is not an effective problem solver. She is a nice person and is dedicated to her beliefs. She helps constituents cope with minor bureaucratic oversights and slip-ups, and brings in some project money from time to time. But the policies she supports on a wide variety of issues are wrong for us. She is not a leader. Where are her legislative achievements? Can you name one piece of legislation she has sponsored or passed? She ranks near dead last in the House in terms of effectiveness. We deserve better representation, and I can provide more leadership as a freshman representative than she's mustered in 10 long years. Today I'm going to focus on 2 issues, security and energy. We all remember 9/11. After being attacked, we acted to make ourselves and the world safer. Learning from earlier mistakes, we are setting up a viable democracy in Iraq. We must win the war on terror, and I'm committed to that result. Many of the threats to the United States are financed by oil-rich states. Lowering the price of oil will improve our security. The most critical issue in this election is energy. Behind us is the last major automobile manufacturing plant in Wisconsin. Wisconsin has produced at least 4 million cars, over 80 models, and hosted up to a dozen manufacturers. Unlike other state car plants that lost out to competition, this plant was killed by government energy policies. It produced popular models desired by families with children, but the price of gasoline made these vehicles unmarketable and unaffordable. How did this happen? A legitimate effort to reduce environmental pollutants has become a crusade against fossil fuels. Worldwide demand has surged. Being environmentally responsible should not mean shutting off the fuel to your car. If there was a justifiable concern over the safety of nuclear power, it has been resolved a long time ago. Mining, drilling, and energy production are safe. When gasoline was $1.20 a gallon, this debate was academic. Now that gasoline is $4 a gallon, the debate is critical to our economy and the men and women of South Central Wisconsin. Yet the incumbent hangs on to old philosophies and refuses to consider change. Our incumbent Congresswoman actually sits on the House Energy and Commerce Committee, the Energy Committee. We haven't heard a proposal or even a word of sympathy from her, let alone seen leadership. Members of a Congress are elected and paid to respond to crises, and she has not. When my opponent was first elected to Congress, the cost of gasoline was about $1.20 a gallon. Under her watch, gasoline has passed $4 a gallon. A tank full of gasoline that used to cost $30 now costs $100. Some suggest walking. Others suggest bicycling. I insist on drilling.
There you go. Yeah. That's right.
To make matters worse, the Democrats who control Congress are stonewalling. Incredibly, they refuse to reconsider their policies and permit a vote on an all-of-the-above energy policy. They are at recess. No kidding. They recessed and left town, symbolically and actually turning out the lights and turning off the cameras, so Republicans couldn't debate this issue on the floor of the House. While America sits on more oil resources than Saudi Arabia, the Democrats in Congress keep a death grip on our energy pipeline.